this market intelligence might not be widely known.
People being asked to send money.
Thinking it's a family relative.
Banks are not something which is super solid and super secure. What can you do? What can you not? What are the red flags to avoid? We have been there, done that. We know the market. I wrote a book about how money moves and how banks think. They just don't really think about payments and banking, which
could be a very,
very costly mistake. You can never trust what you see again, ever.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast show by The Trading Pit. Today, we will talk about moving money, how banks work, with Viktoria Soltesz. In today's podcast, we dive into the intricacies of global banking systems with Viktoria, a leading expert in the field and the mind behind PSP Angels. We'll explore how understanding the systems can significantly impact our business bottom line and operational efficiency. And I will let Viktoria introduce herself and tell us a bit about her and how she started into this business.
Oh, wow. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me here. We've got a long-standing friendship going back to years. So first of all, I just want to congratulate you all the success that, the Trading Pit achieved in such a short period of time. And it's an absolute honor to be here. So thank you very much for having me in this podcast. As you said, yes, my name is Viktoria Soltesz, and I wrote a book about how money moves and how banks think. And going back a bit, actually, I started as an accountant around 20 years ago here in Cyprus. Yes, it was a long time ago, and I started to work as an accountant back at the day. I was dealing with different tax structures, setting up global structures to optimize the taxes. And I got involved in international companies as well, looking at their finances, doing their accounting. Later on, I did some audit as well. So this is where I started. And when my clients complained that the banking compliance got more and more strict and they have serious issues of moving money, opening new bank accounts, moving the different funds, or even accepting funds from their own clients, that's when I realized that there could be a gap on the market in terms of knowledge and education of how all these banks systems work, how the payment service providers work, what is the banking compliance, what is the restriction, what can you do, why you can do certain things and why you cannot. And overall, I realized that a lot of people are not doing any kind of payment planning. I'm an accountant. I know that we have a lot of limitations in terms of this. So we are absolutely good with, debit, credit, calculating all the budgets and whatnot. But when it comes to payment planning, it's still the job of an accountant, whereby it needs a different kind of expertise and a different kind of knowledge. Just to give you an example. I'm sure that your traders are also able to pay with different payment methods. It could be cards, it could be bank wires, and all that. Now, the accountant who is processing all those payments internally might not have the relevant experience of how Visa and MasterCard works. What are these banking schemes? What is the difference between the banking languages? So in case one of your customers are depositing money through a SEPA system, and that bank does not have the SEPA capabilities, then it could cause some problems. So those are all the planning aspects that it falls usually on the company, because obviously you want to maximize all those deposits that you receive. So then I started the PSP Angels to, first of all, find all those answers to my clients. And later on, I realized that if you have one client, you have them all. It's basically the same questions, the same problems, the same issues. This knowledge, this market intelligence might not be widely known and summarized in one website whereby you just go and know everything. And that was the reason that I started PSP Angels, which is a payment consultancy concentrating on banking, explaining and educating people, businesses, individuals, everyone about how banks work and how banks think. So that's the short background of my company. Right now, the group has multiple different companies. We have one branch which is focusing on iGaming and gambling, which is a very specific industry. It's similar to trading when the money goes in and out. It's also the problem for the forex brokers or investment firms as well, because they are also falling into a higher risk category. Then we have another branch which is dealing with the mergers and acquisitions, buying, selling, investing in financial licensed institutes. So we are doing all the accounting and all the background and the due diligence from a payment perspective for those companies as well, and advising obviously the buyers or the sellers, helping them to finalize the deal. And obviously payment consultancy at its best is still led by PSP Angels, which is now we are more focused on advising these financial licensed companies as well. So we are working a lot with banks, e-money institutions, payment institutions, even crypto exchanges. If they want to approach new markets, what is the current regulation there? What can you do? What can you not? Who are those correspondent connecting accounts or local payment providers that you can trust? What are the red flags to avoid? And overall, just optimize all the operations from a perspective that we have been there, done that, we know the market, and we can advise accordingly.
You have a very wide experience in this industry, touching on a lot of various industries from higher risk to lower risk as well. You mentioned there that it's important to have a strategic approach to banking. And can you give more examples and why exactly it's important to have this strategic? If we don't, let's say, if we get into the business and we don't think payments first, what can happen?
Yes, and it's a really good question, because that's what I see. 99.9% of the businesses, brick and mortar or online businesses, they just don't really think about payments and banking, which could be a very, very costly mistake. So let's put it very easily. If you have, let's say, 3-4 million, which is coming in and out of an account, you are immediately in a high risk because you're keeping it in one bank account. The banks in Europe have a deposit guarantee scheme up to 100,000. So if something happens with that bank, and we saw some examples here back in 2013 in Cyprus, when we had a little bit of a banking crisis, that also happened with one of the major banks in Malta back in 2018. So banks are not something which is super solid and super secure. It should be, but it's not.
Yeah, exactly. In spite of what everybody might think, that banks are very secure. Yeah,
exactly. So if you're keeping a larger amount of fund or one bank account, you're immediately in a risk. It doesn't cost a lot to open multiple accounts and manage them, but it can cost a lot not to have them in case something happens, in case that even that bank does not have to have any kind of serious problem. It's enough if that bank is doing a compliance audit on you. They freeze your funds, right? No money coming in and out. What are you going to do? There are a lot of clients at one end who are trying to pay you. You don't have a bank account to take the funds. Immediately, there is lost profit, lost income. Or there is another example when you want to expand to a new market. Let's say that you have a very, very successful business here in Europe and the customers are paying perfectly, marketing is working well. As a company, it's your responsibility to make sure that you are offering all those payment methods to your customers who are actually able to pay you. How many times it happened when we went online, we wanted to buy some shoes or even clothes, then they only take PayPal. Okay, I have PayPal, but maybe you don't have. And all that marketing effort and energy to acquiring new customers, going to the website, put things in the basket, and at the end of the payment journey, they are falling out, and all this marketing money went to waste. So it's very important how to optimize these kind of things internally as well.
Coming into our industry, the prop trading industry, which is similar but quite different to the CFD and Forex industry, high risk industry as we know it. So in our case, clients do not make deposits and withdrawals. They make just payments of fees, and they receive a payout if they generate profits on their earning account. So it's in this respect, it's seen differently, and certain payment providers treat this not as a high risk industry, but more as similar to e-commerce. So what are some payment strategies to increase operational efficiency that prop firms can take in order to help with that?
Well, your banks are the lifeline of your business. So it's very important to know what are your bank's limitations as well, because that's one thing that you're doing everything perfect, everything legal, every client is happy, you've got the best reviews. If that structure is not understood by the bank, you will get either rejected or you only find all those payment service providers or financial providers, financial product banks who are dealing with higher risk clients. And then obviously the risk is on you as well, because if they do something wrong, that affects the financial institution where you have your assets. So of course it can affect your business, even though that you as a company is not doing anything wrong. So first, we need to understand that how to find, first of all, the relevant banks and payment service providers who understand this business, who understand what are the differences between the different trading methods, and also to explain them that there is not even an opportunity where something can go wrong. Because the banks have two main goals. They want to make sure that, first of all, everybody's paying their taxes. And second of all, no one is committing any kind of crime. No one is actually paying for anything that they shouldn't. So based on these two categories, they are putting companies as well as people in different risk categories. And if you appear, or if there is an opportunity for either tax evasion or doing something wrong, then the bank is thinking that even though that you haven't done it, so there is an opportunity, there is a chance that something goes wrong. That means that, okay, that you will get a penalty as a business, but me as well as a financial institution can have really serious reputation or financial damage around it. So you need to understand and put yourself in the shoes of the banks and see things from their perspective. So that means if you can prove that there is a very easy to understand, clear-cut payment flow, where the money comes from, how much, how often, what currency. You do understand your clients who are paying. You do understand what's their source of funds. You do have some kind of limitations that someone cannot come in the office and, give you 10 million and put it on the account. If this is put in a very easy and clear to understand way, you have a higher chance to find all those providers who are safer, who give you better terms and conditions, who are cheaper, and who are more reliable to help your business grow in a long term.
Where do you see the payment industry heading in the next 5 to 10 years?
The technology is booming.
Exactly.
And you see it everywhere, exactly. And you see the AI is coming in, and it feels like that we are more connected than ever. Everybody wants to cut back the cash for obvious reasons, because, as I mentioned, tax evasion and doing something wrong is like perfect opportunity if you're dealing with cash. So I can see that government, not only in Europe, but everywhere, they're trying to cut back the cash movements. And try to have more control over the payment flows for obvious reasons, right? I mean, if I give anyone, I don't know, 1,000 euros in cash, I don't know that how many people actually put it in their tax return the next year and pay the relevant taxes after that. So there has to be some kind of forcing method and in a regulated way that every time that funds are moving, then it moves in a legal and healthy way when people are paying the relevant taxes after that. So this is where I see going from the regulatory perspective, and obviously the technology, as I said, it's really there to help all of those players, as well as the regulators coming there, and it's going to be easier to check who has what kind of funds, all the taxes, all the submissions have been done, and on the other side, from the user's perspective as well. Because if right now I want to send you some money, I still have to put in that long IBAN number, 16-digit number, and I miss one digit, and the whole money just goes on a circle around exactly, and then it takes ages to get it back. And also I see a lot of new good fraud prevention methods as well. So that means that if you are making any kind of payments by mistake, or the provider or the company who we are paying for the goods and services not really delivering those kind of promises that you paid for, you've got easier ways to get the funds back. Also, everything gets more and more international, which is very, very good in my opinion. So the world is more interconnected than ever. So it's quicker, safer, and easier to send money. But then obviously it has to be in a regulated way. So I see a lot of regulatory harmonization here coming. So just by one country is allowing some kind of money movements and the other one doesn't, now those gaps are really closing down, as well as the regulatory arbitrage as well. So when you have a business, until now you had an opportunity to go to this country because of the better technological advancements, better taxation criterias. Now these kind of things are really closing down. So the regulators work together to create a global regulation, which is good enough for obviously all the countries. And we see the taxation regulation is getting closing down this gap as well. So everybody now is really paying their fair part of their taxes, individuals and businesses likewise. And that really filters out all those legit businesses as well, because even a couple of years ago, there was a wild west out there. There was different regulators, there was different way of manipulating the customer to pay money. And now I see that the online space becomes safer and safer for people and also for businesses. And that's definitely the right way to do. And this is where the future is going.
Hopefully AI will not cause issues. I mean, there's this, I guess now thought that AI is really good because it can help with a lot of
fraud prevention, transparency, and all these things. But at the same time,
you hear about scenarios where because people can deepfake voices, or even now,
Videos of people talking, and you already hear about fraud,
people being asked to send money.
thinking it's a family relative. And so that's one of the concerns that I see going on.
Yeah, but on the other side, the good thing is that AI is also there to filter out all of these scams. So until now, I'm sure that you remember, we were checking the customers by asking their passport copy, which was sometimes black and white, sometimes blurry. We don't know how the passport should look like from a country that we never saw, before, or even the utility bill. I mean, how many times we had a utility bill and we just looked at it and we were like, okay, that's fine. I believe it because that's how it should be. You cannot really call the utility bill company and say that Daniela paid 20 euros for electricity, last month, obviously. So AI is also strengthening up at the other side, which is helping all those providers and businesses who are filtering out all those scammers. So yes, of course, scammers got better and better with the deep fakes and the cheating method. But on the other side, the AI is also getting better by filtering out all those scammers. So now with the transparency and interconnectedness, now you have the opportunity to do your KYC one. It gets tokenized. It doesn't have to be shared with a lot of people if you don't feel comfortable sharing your passport copy or utility bill. But that token, that information package can be shared with multiple companies who are then putting the trust in that company who actually did the KYC check, the verification in the first place. And this is amazing because then your utility bill is not circulating around in multiple financial institutions, in multiple trading companies, and
various hands.
Exactly. And one is okay with that and the other one it doesn't. I'm just looking at it, how blurry it is. In my subjective opinion, it's okay because I can read it, but maybe you can't. So with this, we can eliminate a lot of issues on that as well. So both sides can increase that from the AI perspective as well.
You mentioned tokenization, so that's part of the blockchain technology. Is that what we're talking
Could
about?
be.
Yeah.
Or not. So, for example, if you have any kind of information, then you can put it in an informational package. You can apply cryptography or any kind of security method to secure it, and that information can be sent. So, instead of you sending a PDF copy of your valuable passport, you are asking a third-party trusted provider to check it for you, put it in an informational pack, and then send it to the relevant authorized companies who will use that information. So that could be as well. But yes, it's this expression tokenization really came with the blockchain. So that's when we started to talk about it because blockchain started.
So speaking about blockchain and cryptocurrencies, how do you see emerging technologies that can have an impact on the prop trading sector, payments obviously related? How do you see this being used?
In my opinion, blockchain is a great technology, and it was made to be transparent and quick and easy to understand. It's basically an open ledger whereby everybody can join in and not cheat the system. That was the basic idea. The application, however, what we see is that unfortunately, because of this anonymity and the basic concept of blockchain being full control over your own assets, has been taken into the direction what we know today. So many times, if you're talking to average people on the street, you're mentioning them blockchain or mentioning them cryptocurrency, there's an issueness around it because there were a lot of bad things that they heard about us. If the blockchain technology is used properly, then it is the safest and the best way to transact any kind of value at the moment. However, it has to be connected to identification. So we still need to know who is sending money to who is sending the value to who, what is the reason for that, to apply all of those banking criteria, as you mentioned previously, that everybody is paying their fair bit of taxes and no crime is being committed by sending any kind of money. So if we are using the blockchain technology in a way that we are using it for creating transparency and trust and ability to have a third party auto executing kind of method, how the value is being transported, then yes, this is the best. What we saw in the current applications, due to the lack of regulation, due to the lack of checks, due to the lack of identification, that was a whole different story. But we can talk about it for days, but everything is really getting harmonized. So now we see all the harmonization for all those crypto exchanges as well. So back in the day, even 5 years ago, it was very easy to open a crypto exchange, get some sort of quasi license for that, get connected in the banking world and do all the money laundering in the world, because no one really checked you. And it was up to your own consciousness. How are you using this newfound freedom? Now, obviously, it's getting more and more regulated. European Union is coming up with the MiCA, which is an overall regulation about how to store, handle, transfer cryptocurrencies, which is, in my opinion, it's a really good thing. And in this way, you can harmonize it together with the traditional banking as well. So in my opinion, eventually cryptocurrency becomes some sort of kind of like a currency. So instead of having a dollar or a euro, now we have an opportunity to have a cryptocurrency, and that's what it's going to be, just a currency.
Let's talk a bit about the challenges that prop firms today might experience in the payments landscape. What are some of these challenges, and what are some strategies that they can employ in order to manage them?
In my opinion, every company needs to have a payment plan, a very solid payment plan. That means that you need to really understand where the money comes from, how are you handling those funds, do you have the relevant payment or banking providers who assist you with the latest technology, with the relevant technology that you can connect with your CRM system, and then in case that you need to send some money out back to your customers, that it's regulated and monitored in a safe way, because their failure could turn into your failure, right? If your banks fail you are the one as a company who cannot take the money or cannot pay out, so your reputation is getting damaged. Now, I had a really interesting story. It was a good couple of years ago. I had a client who was running different companies. He was a shareholder, also a director, but it was a shipping company, so there was nothing, high risk related. And he had a long-term ongoing banking connection with trusted high street, 100 years old banks. And one day he calls me and he says that, Viktoria, I know that you're into this blockchain and cryptocurrency. Guess what I did? I bought 500 euro worth of Bitcoin. I was really lucky, and the Bitcoin price went up, and I created 550. So I was like, that's great, let's cash out. So I close my position, get the money out, And as soon as I wanted to send it to my traditional banking account as a person, the bank immediately froze my account. Where is this money coming from? Oh my God, it's coming from crypto exchange. What kind of dealings do you have with crypto exchange? Is it the only funds or is there other funds that we didn't notice? It took him ages to figure out what's going on, explain everything to the bank, but it's only 50 euros. But we don't know. Show me all your other bank statements to make sure that you're in the relevant risk category. Long story short, basically the guy really badly failed, and he has been put on a higher risk category with the traditional bank because now he is allegedly trading with cryptocurrency, involved in crypto. And since he was the director and shareholder in multiple companies, all those companies are immediately became a bit higher risk. So that 50 euro gain eventually resulted in higher mortgage repayments, higher fees in banking for his companies, so all his companies. And he told me that wish I knew this. I would always, no one told me this. And of course, when you're signing all those banking papers, when you open an account, these are the things that either you don't read or you don't remember, and it just hits you. So that just there to show that how easy to make a mistake, even though that you're not doing anything wrong from a banking perspective. So in my opinion, every company should have a very detailed payment plan, which always needs monitoring because of the technological advancements, regulatory advancements. There always need to be someone who is telling you that, okay, this is a change now. We could do that, but now it's no longer available. Everything is changing all the time. And you need someone who is advising you on that. It could be your accountant with a relevant payment experience. It could be an internal payment expert, for example, your head of payment, or it could be an external independent payment consultant like PSP Angels. But you will need someone definitely after a certain amount of volume that you're generating or you're moving funds internationally. You will need to have someone in your team who's advising you because it's a very slippery slope and it's very easy to make some mistakes.
Okay, so the biggest challenge that we would face right now is making sure that we stay on top of all the regulatory and technological advice.
We plan and we monitor and we pay attention to everything. And obviously education as well. Because maybe you as a head of payment got it all figured out, but that's that the marketing team doesn't. How would they know that, right? So they might actually mention something that they shouldn't, or they are targeting areas where the payment methods of the banking providers are not that good or not that trustworthy, or even it's great, but it takes much more to integrate new payment method, which is catering for that new areas, and it's going to increase cost and time and delays. So there are a lot of aspects to it. So maybe because, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. I'm always saying the start to the payment. Make sure that the lifeline, the blood of your business is flowing healthy and securely and in a cost-effective method, and build everything around that. Because you can have the best product with the best team and the best marketing if you cannot collect money from your clients or you can't pay them out in a relevant, fast way, your whole business is going to suffer.
Also, what I noticed from what you're saying, that the payment situation and all the payment related aspects of the business no longer are strictly, a matter of the finance team or the accounting team, but basically all the business units have to be integrated and understand how their activity may affect the company's payments situation.
Exactly. And where this knowledge is available, yes, maybe you have some bits here or there, or you watch this podcast and you have like, aha moments, but it's just you who is responsible for the overall training within the whole company and make sure that the departments are understanding every single payment and banking risks. And this is the main challenge. But we can even talk about individuals. So even if you're an individual and you're trading with a company, you as a person have also banking and payment risks, obviously on a smaller scale. So, the charges are not going to hit you that bad, because if you have a payment provider or a bank who's charging you 5 euros or 10 euros, then obviously the difference is not that much. But still, there is an important element to really understand that who is storing your assets, what is the security around it, what to pay attention, how to avoid problems, how to avoid frozen funds, how to avoid very expensive banking fees, and just really understand that how the money moves eventually.
So speaking about individuals and coming to our traders, because we've discussed a lot of points that are relevant from the business side of things. And obviously, our traders are going to be affected by the payment methods that we have available, but also those that are available to them and that they have access to in particular. So how can some of our prop traders evaluate what are the best payment methods for them and how we can choose the best ones for them?
I think it's very important that you're working with a company that, first of all, you trust, you did your due diligence on, and you have the preferred payment methods through them to use. Let me put you an example. So, for example, if I am sitting in Europe right now in Cyprus and I have credit cards and this is my preferred payment methods, even though that I've got the best service and the best customer experience with a company, let's say, registered in Dubai or in Asia or somewhere in Africa, they might not have the relevant payment methods that I want to pay with, which are the cards, or they have certain regulation which might put me as a trader in risk locally because they don't have the capability or don't have the relevant submissions after me in Europe to submit because they're regulated in a different country. And very important, when they're paying me out, my bank is not going to freeze the funds, right? Because it's coming from Africa, because it's coming from Asia, because it's coming from Dubai. So this is the type of responsibility as you as a trader has to pick the most suitable trading firms for your need. And of course, the customer service is important and of course, the security, but it's your responsibility to do your due diligence. Many times I've seen that the traders invested a lot of money with a company without even knowing where that company was regulated. Now, it's a very easy exercise. You go on the website, you roll down at the bottom, and by law, they have to declare that who is regulating them, where the funds are stored, what ways and terms and conditions they are actually handling the funds. And this is all important information for you as a trader, because there is one thing to put the money in, but also, as we are hoping for, you're getting money out. And if that money is more than you put in, and that's the goal, right, to actually generate some income, how is it going to be declared? Do I have to pay taxes of that? Is there any way to communicate with that company in a relevant way to make sure that the payout methods is my preferred payment methods? Maybe I don't want to get the money back on the same card that I deposited from. What are the other alternatives I have? So there are a lot of other aspects to this. Now, many times, if you have a good company who can help you with, this is the ideal way. And this is when it comes to customer service and customer experience in play. But you still have a lot of responsibility as an individual trader to pick the right company and maintain your own finances in your own level, because they can do so much to you.
Okay, so our traders currently can use various payment methods from cards, various cards, wallets, obviously wire transfers, but also local payment methods. As we cater to clients all over the world, we have made a lot of efforts into also taking local payments where possible. And that's the way we move forward as well. Is there anything else?
This is perfect, and it's very important for even for the traders to pay attention to the red flags, because if one company does not accept cards, why? Maybe the bank knows something that I don't as a trader, right? Or they don't offer the relevant local payment methods for me. Why? Maybe they don't care about it, and it's negligence, or the customer service is not that good. They don't take care of me as a customer. Or maybe they tried, but they cannot get it. That's a red flag. Why? Because they don't fulfill the relevant regulatory criteria. because their current bank don't trust them enough to offer these payment methods. So from the user perspective, it's also very important to understand and recognize these red flags as well when you're engaging with a trading company. I know that the Trading Pit is offering all those relevant payment methods. So for me as a trader, I can actually trust that those payment methods already pre-vetted you, found you good enough, and gave you that channel. So when I'm paying with a card, it's not only the regulator of the Trading Pit is taking care of me, but also it is under the Visa and MasterCard global scheme and safety. So that's also very important.
That's correct. I mean, for the traders that are watching us currently, I don't know if they are aware that in order for us to get all these payment methods, we have to go through extensive checks of our business model in order for us to be able to onboard them. So this is actually a very good aspect from the trader's perspective.
Exactly. And who's going to tell you this? I mean, this is not. Now we are talking about it. Of course, it's common sense. But if you don't talk about it, if you don't know about it, you might not actually see all those screaming, really loud, obvious red flags as now we are talking about it. So that's why it's very important to also educate our traders, our clients, our colleagues, our industry about all of this. And I think you guys are doing an amazing job as well, because with this podcast, you're bringing up all those issues which many times we are just not talking about, but it's there and it should be common sense, but many times it's not. So in my opinion, it's very important to have these kind of communication channels, the education portals, where we are talking about other things which are connected to trading, which might not be the trading itself. Obviously, trading is important, but other parts like payments or like banking, like we do today.
Thank you, Viktoria. Some really great insights from you today. Do you have any closing insights for us as we finish up this episode?
Yes, I wrote the book about all the banking and payment questions, all those experience over these 20 years that I faced, a lot from a business perspective, but I think it could be an eye opener and very interesting from a trader perspective as well. That how money moves, what are the gray listed or even blacklisted areas of the world, how regulation works, how to trust regulators, or how to filter out who to trust and who to avoid. So if you would like to have more information or insights about payments and banking, just feel free to go to Amazon. It's available on every Amazon store, but you can always find me as well. And I'm here to help and educate people as much as I can.
Great. Thank you very much, Viktoria. I've personally read your book, Moving Money, How Banks Think.
Okay, what do you think?
It was a really great insight. I love the fact that you've explained things in a very simple way for anyone to understand. You brought a lot of knowledge that it's sometimes quite elitist, let's say, to the masses.
Okay.
And I've earmarked actually a few pages in regards to payments to go back to them and just review them. Some quite interesting tips there. So I highly recommend it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So a huge thank you to Viktoria for joining us today and sharing her invaluable expertise. For those looking to dive deeper, please refer to her book. And also, please, Viktoria, tell us where our audience can find you.
Yeah, so I've got a website for the book itself, which is movingmoneybook.com, but my company is pspangels.com, and I'm available on LinkedIn as well. Viktoria Soltesz. Might be having a problem with the spelling of that, but yeah, on Amazon you can find the book. Through the book you can find the company, and it's very easy to get in touch with me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And like and subscribe this video of the podcast show. Thank you.
Thank you.